What's up, y'all? Welcome to our YouTube channel, the KickBack FC. Appreciate your guys' continued support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
All right, so welcome back to the KickBack FC, your go-to spot for unfiltered real talk, all things about soccer. You know, we got it all. We're breaking down the biggest moments, hottest takes, everything you need to know to stay plugged into the world's game. We'll even tap into some other sports from time to time because if it's big in sports, we've got some thoughts on it. Whether this is your first time tuning in with us or you've been rocking it up with us from the jump, again, just want to say thank you to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, I'm one of your hosts, Cornelius, and I'm here with my boys and fellow co-hosts. Salam, how you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Good weekend in Miami with the fellas a few weekends ago. How about you, Gabriel?
Feel good, man. Feel good to be back in Sycamore Studios, man. So love this place and ready to get down to business and talking about these topics, man. So how you feeling, Cornelius?
Good, man. As you said, back in the beautiful Sycamore Studios here in Columbus, Ohio. Just love sitting down here. I feel like it's just so comfortable when we come in here. The vibes always are set.
Shout out my man Daniel working the culture as well.
Ones and twos, man.
100%.
But yeah, it's our summer recap episode. We just have a few topics before we get into, the start of the Premier League. It is mid-July here, July 17th. So the Club World Cup is finished, as is the Gold Cup. We've had some summer transfers, so those are going to be the three main topics for you today. But, before we get started, I just wanted to get into the Gold Cup because we always talk about the U.S. national team. We've had our gripes, but we've also hyped them up a little bit, especially after last World Cup, them getting into the group stages, losing to the Netherlands. That was kind of tough. But we saw some bright spots. We saw some things they could build on, leading into this upcoming World Cup, which is going to be held here in North America. But the last major tournament before the World Cup was the Gold Cup, which also took place here in the U.S. this summer. We fell short, though. Not going to lie. I think the last time we sat down here, we kind of didn't have high expectations for the team. We knew that a lot of the big perennial players that have been on this U.S. national team, Tim Weah, Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, a lot of the guys that are playing in Europe that have been there for a while decided to sit out, whether it be for injury like Yunus Musa or whether it be just to work on your mental health, your physical health, take some time off because you've been running essentially 365 days a year like Christian Pulisic. Whatever the reason, we had some players that decided not to come to this tournament, and that was a big talking point leading into the tournament. So I kind of want to ask y'all, now that the tournament's over, I know this wasn't on the agenda, but do you think those players sitting out hurt or helped moving, into this Gold Cup? So I want to start with you, actually.
Do I think that it hurt us? No, absolutely not. One thing that I believe about this men's national team, I think we know who the big stars are. We know who the guys we're going to be able to rely on. I'm mostly talking about the guys that play in Europe. But my thing with the men's national team has always been I don't want to say supporting cast, but, the other pieces that aren't the guys that play over in Europe. And I think that this tournament really gave an opportunity for some guys that probably wouldn't have got the time had those guys been in there. I mean, you look at someone like Diego Luna, like someone who completely took advantage of the opportunity and is, I mean, I know it's early to say, and barring no injury, like he's definitely going.
If he's healthy, he's going. 100%.
Yeah. So someone like him, I think Chris Richards did a great job of showing that he's the best center back that we have. So him, coming off that FA Cup win to come in and, almost be flawless throughout the whole tournament was huge for us. So, we definitely have our 1A, I would say, in that center back pairing. I thought Tim Ream did well as well, too. So that's another veteran that I believe, will help, bring that experience to the team. And, I mean, someone like, who did I say? Berhalter. I thought Berhalter did a good job as well, too. So, yeah, man, I mean, I could go down the list and say, a few players, and then obviously Malik Tillman, what he did. I mean, he was amazing all tournament 100%. And definitely shown that he's, one of the players that I believe we should be able to rely on. And he just got his move to Leverkusen, so he's going to be there with Ten Hag, and I think that he's gonna get the opportunity to play. Someone like Patrick Agyemang, another guy. So yeah, man, I think that we know what we're going to get with the European guys. I think it was always about all the other pieces that are going to help support this team. And I think in a lot of positions, you can look and say, hey, we do have some guys here that can play. And we also have some depth in the attacking area. So we just got to figure out what combination is the best combination for us.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that take. I do think that it was important for the U.S. men's national team to be able to see what they have in total, because a lot of the times we don't see what we have in total. A lot of those guys, the European guys, are in the mix and they're playing and they're starting. But I'm going to go on the opposite end. I think this hurt the team. I think that whenever you don't have your skip, whenever you don't have, very, very important pieces in the mix, it hurts. And we've talked about this a little bit, but this is the last major tournament before the World Cup happens. And, we did okay. In my personal opinion, we did okay. I think Poch did okay with what, he had and, the players that he had to pick from. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is a tournament that we should be winning. And especially against a team like Mexico, which is literally our arch rival in the national space, right? Of course, North America, South America. When's the last time we beat Mexico?
It's been a while.
I'm going to look real quick. The last time we beat Mexico, this is March 2024, and it was a championship playoff, CONCACAF Nations League championship playoff. That was the last time we beat them. But in a major setting, I feel like we haven't beat Mexico in a while, and something that was truly important. And I feel like, this win would have given the confidence to those players, to this team, especially for the guys, especially who are sitting at home, right? To say, okay, Pulisic isn't there, Musa isn't there, guy from Fulham left back, I'm blanking on his name right now. Anthony Robinson isn't there, right? Major guys aren't there. Haji Wright isn't there. But yeah, if they were able to actually get this win, imagine, right? Now they come into the side. Now it's a whole different outlook. And I do believe that this group did a lot better than I thought they would. 100%. I'll hands down. They did a lot better. I did not think they would get to the final. But at the end of the day, results-based business, they fell short. And, it's tough, of course, because you don't have your guys, but I still think like this team has more. I feel like this team has so much more, even with the guys that we did bring. And I think, for Islam, to your point, I think it was good to be able to now filter out some of the guys that were on the fringe. Some of these guys who are getting time and getting, playing time in matches, I can tell you right now, they're not going to be on that World Cup squad. Unless we see a major shift in the next 9 months, some of these guys are not going to be there. But then on the flip end, we have the Diego Lunas, we have the Tillmans, we have certain guys that really, really took advantage of the opportunity. And now that they're going to be on I barring any injury, like you said, I fully believe that they're going to be on the U.S. men's national team. And it's only going to make the team better because, the competition's higher and these guys are going to want to start. Now, they got some of these guys got the first taste of, national football or, national team football. Yeah. And, they don't want to let that go. A lot of these guys don't. It's good to have hungry people, behind you. Like we just talked to Joe. He said you need to have that healthy competition within the locker room to keep pushing guys. And I feel like, some of these guys in this group will definitely push. So I definitely think it hurts still because I think we needed this win, especially for confidence. This is a confidence thing. I definitely think that we needed this win, and especially with all the noise around the team, the pundits, having their own say and all of that. I feel like a win would have, we've said it, right? Winning cures all, regardless of how bad you play or whatever. If you're winning, everyone could be okay, right? So I think, once we add some guys to the fold, it'll be great, but still, to me, it's not good enough. It's not good enough at all.
No, I agree. I think this was a tournament we definitely needed to win just because, like you said, it's a confidence thing. We'll talk about Chelsea a little bit later, but I think Chelsea getting that top four and winning that Conference League led into this summer and gave us the confidence that we had through the summer. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but you're right. Confidence is key, especially when you're heading into a tournament where, last tournament you did okay. Couple tournaments or two World Cups ago, we weren't even there. So we have to look at this team as this is really their first footing. A lot of these guys are going to get their first World Cup. So, let's get into the game a little bit. It's funny because all of the scorers were Premier League players. Chris Richards opened up the scoring for the U.S. in the 4th minute, Crystal Palace player. And then Raul Jimenez, who, we've talked about him on the podcast, but it's just always good to see him playing football because of that major head injury he had 100%. A few years ago. A lot of us did not know whether or not he was going to come back. And even when you do come back from a traumatic injury like that, you may not be the same. But, Jimenez is one of those guys I have utmost respect for. He's just a baller. He puts his head down. He loves the game. And, he showed that he could still do it at the highest level. Scored at the 27th minute in the first half. Second half was a little ticky-tacky, but Mexico gets that second goal, ultimately being the game winner by Alvarez, Edson Alvarez, who had a great year for West Ham this year. I believe he was actually man of the match. But, Gabriel, I'll start with you. Where do you think we went wrong? Because, we had our chances. A lot of the players that had been stepping up throughout the tournament, I don't want to harp on Diego Luna, but I don't want to say he went missing, but he just wasn't there. I don't know if it was a lights too bright thing. What do you think?
I kind of think it is. If I'm being honest, this is, like you said, this is the first time that a lot of these players have been on this stage, and then yet to make it to a final, a final's different than, knockout stages. It's different than group stages. It's different than all of that. It's a final, and it's good for them to have that experience, but at the same time, a lot of these guys went missing. And I just feel like, in a sense, I feel like some of these players didn't recognize the moment. Having played in finals before, it's a very, and I want to say a slippery slope, but you have to understand the in-between, right? And what I mean by that is you have to understand the moment, but you can't let the moment get too big, right? And you can't also dim it down. You can't say, oh, this is just another game, because it's not another game. This is for silverware. This is for a trophy. So I feel like collectively as a group, I feel like not all of the players, some of the players, maybe the moment got too big. And I feel like, I don't think the moment was too small for players personally, but I feel like the moment was just a little bit too big, and some people fed into all of the hype and the things of that match. And that's where I feel like we fell short. And, overthinking is a big thing when it comes to these matches. A lot of players overthink. A lot of players try to, perfect everything and make sure that their warm up is this and that and the third. And it's like, relax, please. So, that's why I think we fell short a little bit. And if I'm being honest, this Mexican team has a little bit more experience than us. And they're more experienced in finals. They have more experience as a team collectively. And that's personally where I fell short. That's where I think we fell short. Salam, what do you think?
So yeah, I think for me, to your last point, I think the experience part and really the lack of experience on our part really showed, especially after they got the equalizing goal. But before I say this, I just want to say, I think this, I would say, era, the past 4 or 5 years, Mexico's been better than us.
10,000.
And this lineup that they put out, this was damn near close to full strength for them.
Yeah.
Everybody was there, and they were already a better team than us. So I don't know. I think that, again, to my point earlier, I just think that the inexperience obviously hurt us. But like I said, I don't think that, Diego Luna hasn't really ever been put in a position where he has to weigh the responsibility of, the team, I would say. Being the guy in a final. And it's not just on him. A lot of guys that played well throughout the
Ajimeng too.
Yeah, the tournament really didn't, really do much. And you got to give credit to Mexico though too. And like I said, I can't even really take away. It's hard for me to take away from the United States just because of how much we had against us going into this tournament. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this Mexican team, close to full strength. There's really not maybe 1 or 2 names that are probably not in the mix, but I would say in this era, the past 4 or 5 years, they've been better than us. And then, I mean, Edson Alvarez, like you talk about experience, him and Raul Jimenez, we don't have that. So
and that's what I'm saying though. Like that's where I feel like, and we talked about this last episode, but this is where we need our guys. Like
right,
regardless if you play or not. You know what I mean? I feel like these guys, some of these leaders of our team, some of these European guys should be there, regardless. Because you see, look at Mexico. All of their leaders, most of their leaders had a direct impact or some type of impact in this final.
Yeah.
Raul Jimenez scored. Their center back assist, left winger assist. You know what I mean? Center mid goal. So it's like their leaders, their guys stepped up to the moment, right? And not saying that our guys won't step up to the moment, but I feel like that's just the difference. And I feel like that's why we needed some of our guys. Maybe not all of them go. And I understand, legs, you need to prepare and things like that. But come on, Jimenez played a whole season. A lot of these guys played a whole season with their club teams as well, and still they're still battling and they understand the moment. And I feel like, I don't know.
Hindsight is 2020, right? But
sure.
I think that if we had the European players, I think we would have beat them.
I agree. No, I mean, I definitely agree.
I think we were right there with them. I think that,
I agree.
It's like we lost off of which was a brilliant goal by Alvarez, but it's like, again, in a moment like that, they took advantage. I mean, that's a moment of switching off. I wouldn't even say switching off. I think he just made a great play. Yeah. And he had a great finish. But with the European players, I think that we would have been able to get the job done. But, I mean, at the same time,
No, to your point, because I was listening to, the episode that you and Mohammed had earlier talking about the women's AFCON, and you guys were doing some, some predictions for what the quarterfinals would be. And I believe it was the Nigeria game.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, if this game is tied, the longer it stays tied, Nigeria has the experience.
100%.
It gets more nervy on the Zambia. And I feel like that's how it was for us in the second half. It was tied 1-1 going into the half. And they didn't get their goal until the 77th. But there were points in that second half where you could just feel the nerviness from the U.S. You could feel that we couldn't get the ball settled, and we didn't really have
together
that.
5
Yeah,
passes.
you couldn't string together 5 passes, or you would get the ball and then you would lose it, and there's a quick foul in our defensive third. Now we have to scurry back. And I think, kind of like to what both of you were saying, that experience that Mexico had gave them a little bit more calm in that, latter stage of the game, which is what you need. You need to have that calm, because the more nervy you are, the more prone you are to make a mistake. So I honestly agree with both of y'all on that fact, because we were right there, and I feel like if we had maybe 1 or 2 more guys, we have the legs, we have the ability to push forward and maybe be a little bit more aggressive in that attacking third. But to get off the negative side and get to the more positive side, who do y'all think were some standout performers? We talked about Tillman, who just got a move to Leverkusen. We talked about Diego Luna, who, I've been talking about this guy all year. I think he's one of the guys that deserves a shout, definitely deserves to be called up to the World Cup squad. But who makes a World Cup roster spot? Who made a really strong case? Who were some standout performers?
Honestly, I'm gonna go Berhalter, man. I think he had a good tournament. He had the assist in the final. Like, these are the guys that when you have an assist, like you have any type of GA in the final, that shows me that you understand the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, of course, it doesn't happen every final. It's not going to happen all the time. But for you to have an impact, a direct impact in a match like that, and not even just this match, but the entire tournament, like, I see him. There's one player for sure outside of obviously like Diego Luna and Tillman. I think he has a strong case, a very, very strong case. And, I wouldn't be surprised. This might be a shout, but he continues on this path. He has a good World Cup. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a move next year. So serious. It's not like he doesn't do a service for Vancouver as well, in the MLS. So it's like, you do well at Vancouver, you do well, what's it called, in the World Cup. Come on, we've seen. Come on, James Rodriguez is a perfect example of a guy who balled out of the World Cup. He got a Real Madrid move.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, Berhalter, please don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Berhalter's going to get a Real Madrid move. Please don't quote me on that. But I am saying that if you do continue on this path of good performances, especially in important matches, people only forget what last happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they only really remember your last performance. And his last performance, I mean, we lost, but he had a good performance. So I from my side, I think Berhalter made a very, very strong case, and I think he'll continue this form through the MLS season. Vancouver's a very good team. They're going to be in the MLS, playoffs, and depending on how they do in playoffs, all of those other things, I think he has a good shout. He has a good case. What about you?
I got two guys. The first one is going to be, and not because I think that, I mean, he had a good tournament. He had some really clutch saves. I would say Matt Freese.
That's a great shout, actually, 100%. Because I ain't gonna lie, Matt Turner ain't going, bro. Well, he's gonna go, but he's gonna start. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna start.
I think he firmly, makes a case for himself that there's another goalkeeper that you have to consider now.
Yeah,
and I think, I think that's one of many positions. I would say one of the main positions for us that we have to address. We have to get that right. He showed that he can be relied on in a penalty shootout if the case comes to that. So yeah, I mean, I think he did a great job of just throwing his name in the hat and saying, I'm definitely a part of the mix. I don't know, him, Zach Steffen, Matt Turner will be in the mix.
If I'm being honest, speaking about goalkeepers, and this is not even just me being a Cleveland State alum, but bro, Brad Stuver deserves a look. If I'm being completely honest, I know we've been tapped into MLS, but bro, I feel like that guy deserves he deserves a call up, bro. He's been balling out of control this season, and he's clearly proved himself as one of the best keepers in the MLS. Zach Steffen, 100%, yeah, all-star. Shout out him, all-star this year. And honestly, I was watching Colorado Seattle last night. I mean, it was a 3-3 match. It was insane. It went 3-0, and then they came back and it was 3-3. But Zach Steffen, again, making worldy saves. I mean, 1v1 saves, all types of saves. So on top of the goalkeepers, I mean, Poch has his work cut out for him, if I'm being completely honest. And on every front, it's not even just, there's some guys, of course, that are going to go regardless, right? Barring any injury. But goalkeeper-wise, like, you kind of have your pick of the litter of, hey, I can give this guy opportunity. Yeah, you have a few options, and not even just goalkeeper-wise, but also just in every position. Our striker, I mean, I know he didn't get the most time, but Brian White, he can make a case for himself.
Yeah.
100%. Even with Haji Wright not being there, like, some of these guys can make a case for themselves.
So. But a guy like that, the one thing that I'm worried about is, bro, he barely played. So
100%.
It's like, I think Poch, the one thing that Poch showed, and I thought like he was going to rotate, but like when we got to the quarterfinals, it was just like he kind of played his guys.
Yeah.
And if you're some of these guys on the bench,
100%.
I'd be a little worried. I don't want to say names of the people, but I mean, obviously, the actions speak louder than whatever we say or whatever we think.
Okay.
When he needed to win, he picked the guys that he did. But yeah, no, I just wanted to say Matt Freese definitely in that mix. And then this one, I mean, I think even if this serves as like a depth move, I think the right back, Alex Freeman, I think he did a good job. And the reason why I bring him up is two reasons. One, because I think he had a good tournament, especially considering how young he is, only 20 years old, had a pretty good tournament. And I mean, with Serginho Dest, coming back from injury, we don't really know what he's going to be like, come 2026, summer of 2026. So, if anything, I think he serves as a good rotation player, 100%. Someone that can be relied on if he gets that opportunity. So, I think he made a case for himself. I mean, we'll see. Maybe Yunus Musa will play there. We've seen him play there as well, too. But, definitely with Freese and Freeman, I feel like you're almost kind of solidifying that back line. Yeah. We know Anthony Robinson is going to be left back. Chris Richards obviously is our best center back. I would say Tim Ream is probably. I would have liked to see Miles Robinson a little bit, but Tim Ream played well.
And the thing is, I've had a little bit to say about Tim Ream over the years, but the one thing that Tim Ream that gives us that's like very, very important, especially for this U.S. men's national team, gives us experience, bro.
Right.
Like his resume is extensive,
Yeah.
you know, and this is a guy that this is probably going to be his last World Cup. Let's be real. It's probably going to be his last. Yeah, it's probably going to be his last World Cup.
Yeah.
But the experience, that's what takes you through the tournaments. You know what I mean? The most of the time, not all the time, but the experience is what gets a lot of people over the hump. That's what got Mexico over the hump in this final. You know, so I agree. Poch has a good problem. He has a good problem going into this World Cup of who, especially with this tournament, and that's one like positive takeaway that you said we started off this whole segment with, was we get to see guys that we've never seen before, and this is your moment. You're either going to make it or break it. Some guys broke it 100%, but some guys made it.
Let me ask you this before we move on. How do you think he did?
So that was actually going to be the question I ended on. And honestly, before I get to Poch, I just wanted to shout out, because I didn't give my guy, but Max Arston, man, shout out.
Okay.
You know, we were just talking about how Miles Robinson was absent this tournament, and he stepped up in that left back position, bro. 3 assists, 1 goal. And honestly, even when Miles Robinson Anthony Robinson, I apologize. Even when Anthony Robinson comes back, he can play anywhere on that left side. He could be a left winger. He could play wing back. And the fact that both of them are super versatile, the fact that both of them can add that offensive threat. Like I said, Arston, 3 assists, 1 goal in this Gold Cup. He has 4 goals and 3 assists in 18 matches for the Columbus Crew. So he's been balling out this year. And I think that was one of our big call-ups that I was actually looking at this tournament. You talked about the right back. I was looking at our left back because we knew that Robinson wasn't going to be there. And so Arston, I think, is going to be a big shout. I think he deserves a call up, and if he continues this way, you know, in the MLS, he'll definitely have a lot of eyes on him. But with Pochettino, bro, I think he did a decent job. Again, we should have won this tournament. I still fully believe that. There's no reason why
100%.
we should have lost, in my opinion. But with all the scrutiny he had coming into the tournament, you know, he didn't really have the best run of games leading into the tournament. We lost a few friendlies to teams that we shouldn't have lost to. You know, we drew a couple games that people kind of were looking at him side-eye. So first and foremost, this was a big appointment. You know, 2 years before the World Cup, when you're hosting the World Cup, everyone's going to look at you and be like,
10,000.
All right, bro, like, so what you got? You know, coming off of the Chelsea sacking, he did a decent job, but he didn't get us over the hump. So now as Americans, we're like, can you get us over the hump? You know, and I think that's kind of to be answered. We haven't really seen him do it yet. You know, when he was at PSG, sure, he got his trophy there. But, you know, even at Spurs, he was able to get them to that final spot, but not over the hump. PSG was PSG. He comes to Chelsea. He was able to get us there. We got to a final, but he wasn't able to get us over the hump. So now he's at another sort of project, you know, like, call it what you want. The U.S. right now is a project.
Sure, 100%.
And it's tough to come into a project with such high expectations because we're all looking at him to get us over the hump. So he has a lot of eyes on him right now. But with the roster that he had, you know, a lot of these guys were new to him. I think he did a decent job. Again, I don't want to give him too much credit because you live and you die by the sword, and you know, in these games, bro, we need you to win. You know, at the end of the day, we need you to win. So I think Pochettino did very well with what he was given, but you know, we're not fighting for participation trophies here. We want silverware. You know what I'm saying? So it would be nice to just give him a pat on the back, but I don't think that's what's going to get him going. I don't think that's the motivation he needs. I think he needs a little bit of tough love. But to be honest, I wasn't too mad with his with what he did. You know, we kind of breezed through the group stages, and then, you know, the knockout was what it was. But to get to a final, you have to get to the final. You know, you have to win your first 3 matches and then advance. So for me, he did a decent job, but we need more.
Yeah, I agree with that, bro. Honestly, like I said, we live in a results-based business, and we only remember you by trophies and wins and win percentages and all of that. So like I said, I personally think, and you guys know me, I've had a lot to say about the U.S. men's national team over the past couple of years. And all in all, I think he exceeded my expectations, at least. I didn't think we were going to make it to the final, if I'm being completely honest.
Right.
That PK shootout, I definitely thought we were taking it out. Shout out Freeze, man. Yo, shout out Freeze, because I definitely thought we were taking it out. And when he made that save, I said, oh, no, we're good. As soon as he made the first save, I said, oh, no, we're straight.
Yeah,
we're straight.
Done.
So
a couple good saves.
Yeah. So it's like, it's better than what I expected, but is that the standard? No. It's not. It's still not the standard. And listen, I know the situation is tough and this, that, and the third, but listen, this is why we pay you millions of dollars to do this, bro. This is why you get paid to do what you do. And I'm not going to take any prisoners, bro. We needed this tournament. Personally, I feel like we needed this tournament. And, the World Cup is next year. I just hope we get a good draw. Because, bro, if we're in a group of death, I'm sorry, it's looking sticky. It's looking very sticky. But all in all, Poch, I do have to salute you 100%. You did a lot better with what you're working with. You did a lot better than I thought you would. And you definitely deserve your flowers on this tournament, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like he did well considering all the factors that he had going into it. But he showed, for the most part, I think, the players that he trusts. I think if you add those 4 or 5, guys that are not present, that weren't with the team, I think the team looks a little different. But so for me, I think as unpopular as it may sound, I actually don't think like we're in a bad spot, all things considering. But this next year is a big year. So, some of these guys that are getting moves, like, we can move on. But, some of these guys getting moves like Patrick Agyemang from Charlotte to Derby.
Tillman.
Tillman. I mean, these are big months. You know what I'm saying? A big few, like 6 to 8 months coming up right now for you to really stake your claim.
Yeah, so, and they only have 2 matches until the World Cup. They have 2 friendlies. Until the World Cup. So it's like, bro, there's really no time. You know what I mean? So you're going to play your club season, and then after that, you're probably going to go right into camp after 2 weeks, and then boom, World Cup is here. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, those are all good points. I think we're all in the same boat that this is a very is very touch and go. Like, we need our players there. And we need everybody to be on their A game because we don't really have a lot of time to prepare leading into the World Cup. So I hope everyone can stay healthy. I hope all of our main boys stay healthy because we're going to need to be at 100% strength, leading into this World Cup.
Absolutely.
But, to switch gears a little bit, go more to the club side, we had the Club World Cup that also happened in the U.S. this summer, I should say. Dang, I left my freaking scarf in the car. I'm so sorry.
Too late.
I'm so sick. I might get it once Mike comes.
Yeah, so Mike can grab it.
Yeah, I'll grab that from the car. But up the Chelsea.
Boo.
Up the mother Chelsea, my boy. Man, I was alluding to it a little bit earlier. I said after Chelsea got that top 4, berth leading into the UEFA Conference League win. I mean, me and Mike both sat at this same desk and said, finally, this is what we've been yearning for these last 4 years, fam. After after 2021, we had to sell our team. We went through a tumultuous 2-3 years of Rolodex of coaches, revolving door of managers, revolving door of players. We finally tried.
Still revolving door.
I mean, it's still revolving door, but it's moving a little bit slower now. We finally starting to get our 11 kind of succinct. But this is the team that we've been asking for, and the biggest thing to me was that these guys were willing to just play. Like, I feel like for the first time in a long time, I saw Chelsea just play. Like, there was always this little bit of like rigidness to them. Like, you tell they were thinking too much. And I think that, off the back of that Conference League win, a lot of these players just had a lot of release and a lot of weight lifted off of their shoulders. You know, we talked about Cole Palmer second half of the Prem last year. Bro, he was, you know, he went, I don't even want to say ice cold. He went barren, bro. He was in the desert, fam. He was opposite of Cole Palmer. He was lost. You know what I'm saying? He was lost. And you know, those last couple of months of the Prem season, he started to find a little bit of form. Conference League, he found a little bit of form. But we just talked about it, man. Big players play big in big games. 2 goals and an assist against arguably, you know, everyone's been saying the best club in the world, PSG. And you know, me and Mike talk to each other on the side. Obviously, we got our group chat, but no one believed that Chelsea would win this besides Chelsea fans. I mean, even leading into, you know, our Mickey Mouse route to the final, everyone was just like, oh, they're not playing any European teams. It's going to be a cakewalk for them. I mean, sure, but at the end of the day, the teams that we had to play beat the Bayerns. The teams that we had to play beat the Real Madrids. So, yeah, they got to the other side of the bracket, and, you know, we kind of lucked out by not having to see some of the harder teams in the tournament. But at the end of the day, we could look at the tournament as a whole. Madrid didn't go undefeated. Bayern didn't go undefeated. The only team that went undefeated until the final was PSG. So, for me, even Chelsea took a loss to Fluminense, you know. So, for me, I'm looking at this Club World Cup, and it was a really good litmus test for where we stand. You know, me and Mike were talking about, okay, where is Chelsea on a world scale right now? Like, do we have what it takes to go fight with Barcelona? Do we have what it takes to go fight with the Dortmunds, Madrids, Barças, with the Bayerns, with the Inter Milans, who was also in this tournament and didn't get all the way to the final? So for me, it's like, sure, the final is a one-off, but a lot of these games were one-offs. So right now, I have all the confidence in the world that Chelsea is a top 3, top 4 club in the world. There's really not many teams that are like I'll say it right now, Chelsea is a top 3, top 4 club in the world.
Oh, damn.
If you want to say that Barca is better than us, sure. If you want to say Madrid is better than us, sure, possibly. You want to say PSG is better than us? I mean, we just beat them in a final. Outside of those 3 teams, we can look at the Napolis, they just got Kevin De Bruyne. We'll talk about them in a little bit. We could talk about Arsenal, sure. I mean, I guess people want to talk about Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. But for me, leading into the Premier League season, I have all the confidence right now that we can go battle with anyone in the world. I'm not just talking
what's in
about
that cup, bro? What's in that cup?
This is that good old H2O,
so,
Mr. Agua.
Hell,
2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Look, I'm gonna give it to y'all in a second, and we got questions here. But look, y'all lucky I ain't got my scarf because y'all know
this gives you power.
Oh, you know, I ain't go Super Saiyan yet. I ain't even go Super Saiyan yet. This is not final form, and I say that to say Chelsea's not even at final form. We just got 2 new players who both came in and instantly looked like they were right at home. João Pedro scoring in the final. Liam Delap scoring and giving assists throughout the group stages. These are players that everyone was saying, oh, Chelsea, they're going to go buy Delap when we're looking at Gyökeres and, oh, Isak is one of the best. Like, where's Isak?
No.
We right now are in a very, very good space. Are we the best club in the world? I don't think so. No, I know that, you know.
What's your top 3?
I know the banter online is that, oh, champions of the world, you'll never sing that. And look, I'm super happy with this Club World Cup, but I look at everything holistically and I know where we are right now. I currently believe that we can take on any club in the world. Name any club in the world, and I don't feel bad about saying, look, we might not get the dub, but we're going to make it a very, very hard day in the office for anybody.
So then how can you be top?
Yeah, come on, bro. What are you saying? You're trying to backtrack.
Listen,
I'm not backtracking on my statement.
I don't want to say that I don't want to take anything away from this tournament, but to say that you're not being Barcelona.
I think we could.
Oh, come on, bro.
You're
not beating us.
This look. Maybe when we see you in the when we see you domestically, because you guys
you're not beating us in the Champions League. Come on.
All these Champions League teams that everybody holds so high and mighty, We just beat them in the Club World Cup. So look, I say all that to say, look, Chelsea still is going through his growing pains. And yes, we still have a lot we still have a lot to show the world. But to me as a Chelsea fan, and yes, I'm being 1,000% biased. So let me not act like I'm
God
speaking
Mike
strictly
isn't here right now.
Let me not act like I'm speaking strictly
Mike,
on facts.
I'm glad Mike gets to watch this on video.
Yeah,
But for me, I honestly think we're a top 3, top 4 club in the world.
All right.
You're not even
and the only reason that I'm giving people this credit is because I know that Chelsea ain't even fully at full form yet. We're not at final form. So for me, I'm gonna give y'all the floor. What were your overall thoughts for this Club World Cup? And we'll just start there.
This is what I'll say about the Club World Cup. I will say the Club World Cup was a great platform to give exposure to a lot of clubs that I really have never watched in my entire life.
Yeah.
A lot of just start there. A lot of teams in this Club World Cup I never really paid attention to, haven't really watched on a consistent basis and be able to see them in a tournament at all. So I think it gave a platform to, I mean, it sounds not to like make it a pun, but like to the world of football to just be like, hey, there are teams not in your top 5, leagues that can compete, that can play with these clubs. 100%. I agree with that. And for me, it was fun to watch these teams. I was like, wow, damn, like you really can compete. Like you guys have some real serious players. And like I said, it was another tournament for certain players to really take their chance. They see a Chelsea on the lineup. They see a Bayern Munich on the lineup. They see a PSG. They see a Real Madrid. They see a Inter Milan. They see even a Halil. You know what I mean? They see that and they say, "Oh, this is my time to make a statement, make a move." Right? I love the Club World Cup because of that. But the talk that you just talked is why I don't like the Club World Cup. Because
beat us then. Tell somebody to
beat us. We did. But the thing is like, bro, yes, you guys were the Club World Cup. You can quote unquote say that, yes, you were the best club.
I'm not even running with that tag.
No.
I'm personally, I know that's what the banter is.
But the banter is, you guys are the best club in the world, right? If all the best clubs in the world were in this tournament, you're not winning this tournament. I'm just being honest, and like I'm saying,
it could be hearsay, but
it's hearsay, whatever the case may be. You guys want it, so whatever, you have to give it to them. But at the end of the day, I just like this tournament, one, because I get to watch football in the summer, and this is something that we usually don't get to do. So I get to watch football in the summer, and I get to watch teams that I've never seen play. I get to get hip to new players. But all in all, this tournament really doesn't say much for me. Just personally, for me, this doesn't say much. And maybe other people have different opinions about it, but I do think, confidence-wise, especially for Chelsea Football Club, this is a major feat because you have a lot of new guys in the mix. You have a squad that, yes, they made top 4, but they need confidence, especially going to the Premier League. We want to win titles. We want to win trophies and things of that sort. So, no, I get it. For your club, this is major. This is a big deal. And you're adding another trophy to the cabinet. Amazing. You've now won, I think, every European trophy there is to win, I believe. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, that's another feature that you can say that no one else, no other club in the world can say. But at the end of the day, I'm not holding so much weight on this tournament. I'm really not. And maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm opinionated against Chelsea because I truly don't like Chelsea at all.
Everybody
really honest. But good for you guys. But I'm not putting any real like stock into this. That's just how I feel about the tournament.
Salam. I'm gonna let you go. And the only reason I said what I said is because look. In a tournament that is not the Champions League, but in this tournament, I would say out of the top, if you look at the Champions League, top 10, top 15, a lot of those teams were in this tournament. A lot of those teams were in it. I'm not saying all. I'm saying a lot of those teams were in this tournament.
Here we go.
Whether you want to say they came at full strength or didn't, yes, Champions League is the gold standard because it's been here for, 50 plus years. We all have to hold that as the gold standard. But at the same time, a lot of those teams that we consider the gold standard showed up in this tournament and did not show that they were able to advance. And I'm going to give it to Salam now because I want him to get his point, but I have a few other things I want to say. But Salam, your overall thoughts on the tournament, and did it meet your expectations as far as what you thought?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at this two ways. The first way, as a fan, yes, I think it was a success. Like you said, Gabriel, you're able to see teams that you don't usually see. I mean, for me, I feel like one of the biggest surprises were all the Brazilian teams. Like
100%,
all the
10,000.
Brazilian teams
They
performed
deserve
very
this one.
well.
They deserve this one too.
Yeah, performed very well. Their fans showed out, and it was really cool. Obviously we didn't really go to any of the games, but hearing I think Mike was in New York one of the weekends, and he was saying yo, there's Palmeiras fans everywhere here.
Yeah.
And, you're seeing snaps of just with it being here in the States of wow, people are actually coming to this. So in terms of a fan, yeah, I thought it definitely, I would say it exceeded expectations, because one of the biggest things I was worried about was how serious are these teams going to take this? You just had a long season and now you're jumping into this tournament and you're almost, from a club's perspective, you almost have to win it with all the money that's, available. So it's you guys came up off this tournament.
Yeah.
It was how long?
100,
4 weeks?
Yeah.
4 weeks you made 100 plus?
120 mil.
In this market, that's a marquee player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it was basically
That's Isak.
that's our Delap and Pedro, Joao Pedro money.
yeah. So I would say even less than that.
Yeah,
Because you got Delap for 30.
Yeah, plus plus a little bit
For sure.
some change. We got some change.
That's three decent
three players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
three decent players.
Yeah.
Gittins and Joao Pedro for us. Honestly, they're both 60.
But yeah, as a fan, definitely no. I think it exceeded expectations. I think you got to see a lot of teams that you don't see, especially for people here in America who obviously, don't watch both, Palmeiras, Al Hilal. They show that they can compete. Obviously from the MLS standpoint, we didn't have the best showing, but I feel like that was expected. I think that it's not so much that we're not good. I think it's just
These
I don't
teams
think
are
people.
farther ahead.
Yeah, I don't think you realize how good these teams are.
Facts.
But from a player's perspective, I don't know, bro. It's tough. You just had a long season. You go into this, and it's like the manager, the owners, they're telling you we have to win this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, you guys just had a long season. You guys just won the Conference League too, so your season even went a little bit further than already it could have gone. So I'm very curious to see, especially with teams like teams like PSG, how is this going to affect them? And I say those two teams separately because with PSG doesn't have the same amount of depth that you guys have. So I think you guys will be able to cope with it a little bit better because of the amount of players that you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
But a team like PSG, come December, are you going to be slowing down?
Legs gonna be heavy.
You just had a long season. You just won the Champions League too, and you had a crazy run to get there.
Yeah.
The teams that you had to beat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from the players' perspective, it's going to be tough, man. Especially some of these guys that play at the highest level. You just had this tournament, you have your regular season coming up, and then next year's the World Cup. So, I don't know, bro. I think I'm curious, man. But I think FIFA is kind of showing. We didn't get the Super League, so we're just gonna load the summers up with all these tournaments. Which, again, as a fan, that's more soccer for us. It's more football for us. But as a player, it's
tough.
Damn, bro. Look at a team like City. City was even I don't know if they would say pushed. They do their business early, but they got their signings quick.
They were able to
because they were like, yo, we need these guys for this tournament. So obviously teams are taking it seriously, and they're taking it seriously because of the bread. So
so speaking of City, we'll get to them in their transfers, but they're one of the teams that lost in that knockout stage to Al Hilal 4-3, which was a banger of a match.
Crazy.
Crazy. And I only bring up City to say, there were some teams that we thought would make it further in the tournament, but we saw some teams that said, nah, we're here to play as well. So was there a team or a specific player, could have been even a team that got knocked out in the group stages because, you know, we saw what Esteval did, but was there a team or was there a specific player for you two that stood out during this tournament?
Honestly, I mean, I'm gonna get obvious answer, but Al Hilal, bro. I'm being completely honest. Like, since the Saudi league became like since Ronaldo went over there, it became like a real ordeal, right, in the whole footballing world, and they just throwing these crazy numbers around, right? There's a lot of shade on that league. A lot of people, oh, you're just going for money purposes, you're just going for this, you're just going for that, blah blah blah, this on the third, right? But I feel like this showed the world, like, no, this Saudi league isn't a joke thing. Like, this isn't a for play. Like, we are really out here. We're one of the best clubs or one of the best, I would say, leagues in the world. Yeah. They made a case for that, and to have one of their teams go to the semifinal this year.
Yeah.
And on top of that, beating Manchester City, serial winners over the past 5 years, 6 years, right? They made a serious case for themselves, not only that specific team, but for their entire league, I think. And then also Fluminense. You know, that's another squad where it's just like we say, a lot of people don't watch that league. A lot of people aren't tapped in. But there are players in every league. There are teams in every league that can compete, right? And I think this was just another really dope moment for those two teams specifically to get their shine, and they really took advantage of the moment. And for them also getting as far as they got, it's amazing for their clubs, because now their clubs are able to get some of the money from the tournament. Yeah. And now when they go back to their respective countries, right, they might be sitting on an extra 50, 60, 70 million that they didn't expect to be sitting on. So now they can go invest in players. They can go invest in their facilities to attract players. They can go invest in different things in their clubs to enhance it and make it more attractive to get better players, right? So those are two teams that I really think took massive advantage of the moment. And no, you don't have to win. You don't have to win a tournament to be a winner. In this business, at least, you don't have to win the tournament to be a winner, because you can be a smaller club that ends up making a run, bro. That money is going to do wonders. Yeah, absolutely. And that maybe not Al Hilal, because Saudi money is a little bit different, but Fluminense, bro, that money is going to do wonders, bro. That's absolute big wonders. So it's like those are two teams that really took advantage of the moment. I'm really surprised with what they did, being the teams that they beat. I mean, Fluminense beat Inter, bro. Come on, they're in the Champions League final. You know what I mean? So they're in Champions League final this past year, and then what was it, 2 years ago?
What was it? Well, semifinals.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, semifinals, and then last year they're in the final. Yeah, 2 years ago they're in the final. Sorry. So this is a world-renowned Inter team, and they were able to shut them out. Mm-hmm. Shut them out, bro. That's not an easy feature, bro. In the knockout stage, so it was really, like I said, this tournament was really dope just to see the other players. But those are two teams that for sure I was like, wow, you really surprised me, took advantage of the moment, and I couldn't be more than happy for you guys, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the player route. The first one, maybe you can call it recency bias, but João Pedro. I think João Pedro definitely. I mean, he just came from holiday too. Like, he wasn't even training.
He was on holiday.
He wasn't even. I'm sure he was training, but it's like, coming from holiday, you're not even, really like up to speed with like what we got going on, and you're going into a new team. And he came in and he looked like, bro, I'm Delap. Like, I'm starting.
Sure,
yeah. And you guys are in a good spot, because now you have three strikers that are competing for a spot. And yeah, man, I think that he looked like a perfect fit for you guys, and I'm very, very anxious to see just kind of what he brings to the team and how he does for you guys, because I think he's going to contribute in a big way for you.
But not even to cut you off, but that's one guy that, like, bro, I've been waiting for him to get a big move.
Yeah,
like, that's one guy that I mean, he's been in the Premier League, went to down to the Championship, came back to the Premier League. Like, he's always been one guy that, regardless on what team he's been on, if he's healthy and he's starting, he's one of those players that you don't have to know this sport. You're going to be like, that's a guy.
Yeah.
That's a guy. And just off topic, but I've always liked him as a player, and I'm happy he finally, obviously I don't like that he went to Chelsea, but I like that he got that big move, and that's one guy I've always thought is going to shine, and he's going to shine for you guys 100%. But
yeah, he was at Watford, right?
Yeah, he was at Watford for a bit. Wolves for a bit. He's bounced around a lot in England, but just stay the course, stay grinding, and that big move will come. And he's balled out everywhere he's went.
Yeah, definitely Prem proven. So he'll be someone to watch, I feel like, for you guys this season. And
I already know.
For me, the biggest surprise for me in terms of player, one person that I had no idea about, Gonzalo Garcia,
Real Madrid
striker for Real Madrid, 21 years old,
killer.
He's from Spain too.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Spain have their striker. I mean, their front line, him, Nico Williams, and Yamal. Bro,
smoke.
Bro, Chelsea
got
he is good. He is good, and I really think, like, especially with Xabi Alonso coming, Xabi Alonso, wants to press. He wants players that are going to work hard. I think he showed exactly that. I
feel like he's what Joselu, they wanted Joselu to be. That's why I feel like Garcia is personally. But
yeah, like I said, 21 years old. I mean. And I said I don't know if it was if we were in here or if we were recording at home, but I always believe that Vinny and Mbappe are better out wide, isolated, 1v1, whatever the case may be, with space.
This solves the problem.
Yeah, this solves the problem. And I mean, because you have a guy that's going to work down the middle, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's probably going to have to pick up a little bit of the slack defensively for those two, but that's what comes with it. But no, I think that he had a really good showing, and if he can stay healthy, I think that he's going to be a big part of this season and a big part of Xabi Alonso's plans. So definitely one of the bright spots of the tournament. And I mean, this was a guy I had completely no idea about, and I'm like, who is this guy starting? Obviously, Rodrigo wasn't there.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like he's probably going to stay there.
He was there.
He wasn't on the field.
Yeah,
he wasn't on the field, which, I mean, you would have to assume that he's probably going to get a move. But no, this Gonzalo Garcia kid, he's definitely the real deal. And I mean, bro, I feel like Real Madrid read up in a big way this year. With him, Houston looks good too.
Yeah, he looks good.
Obviously, he got that red, but I mean, it is what it is there. But bro, they're in a very good spot. Arda played very well, so like you can already tell, like, who's a part of this plans. And that was another thing about the Club World Cup, and I'll be done here, was that I feel like it gave managers an opportunity to really evaluate a lot of these players. Arda already, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the fall, but it's like Arda already, you can tell, like, he's going to be a part of the mix.
He's been itching for his chance.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Don Carlo just, him and Endrick. I feel like, the two youngsters. Endrick's supposedly going to be leaving on loan, but yeah, I think that the Club World Cup gave an opportunity for coaches to really evaluate what they have. And honestly, it's like, if you don't like what you see, the transfer window is still open. You still have time to bring guys in. So
yeah, no, just speaking to your Real Madrid point as well, like, I think, just with his track record with Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso especially is amazing. Another manager who's just amazing with young players. And I feel like young players can really just relate to him because, one, he's not only has he played in the shirt, but this is someone that young players have probably looked up to since they were kids. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's one of those managers that relates to the youth and isn't scared of giving a guy a shot that he truly, truly believes in. Like, hey, no, you are this good, and I'm going to give you that shot. And sometimes that's all you need as a player, just that confidence from the manager, someone who's been there, who's done it, to be like, no, you are this good. You're here for a reason. And I feel like Xabi Alonso will unlock some of these very, very young players that haven't maybe gotten the chance with Don Carlo or just getting into the mix. But we'll probably see some players out of Madrid that we've probably never heard of before that kind of pop up to the scene and be like, whoa, like, you know, you're wait, yeah, I didn't even know about you, and you're a star right now, you know. So I'm excited to see kind of Madrid's. It's a turn of a chapter, you know. It's a whole new kind of chapter for them after Don Carlos. So I'm excited to see what Madrid does. But
yeah, I mean, we just spoke with Joe Zhao, and he talks about how, you know, Jurgen Klopp, one of those managers that just put a battery in his back, you know, just giving him the motivation, giving him, you know, those pep talks that give you that confidence, saying you do belong to be here. You can go score goals. You can, take that player on one-on-one. You should be beating him every time. Right. Just those type of little tidbits, they mean everything to a player who is super young, still trying to find his footing on one of the biggest clubs in the world. And yeah, you're right, Salam. Arda had a great tournament, but for me, man, this man has been aging like fine wine from Bordeaux. Thiago Silva, man.
Shout out.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Thiago Silva. Fair. Still being one of the standout players in the world, man. You know, from Chelsea, he went back home to Brazil, and, you know, unfortunately, we had to see him in the semifinals, but the utmost respect. You know, Gabriel just talked about how Fluminense beat Inter 2-0 to start the round of 16, and then they go and they see Al Hilal in the quarterfinals. You know, we just talked about how Al Hilal stunned City with that 4-3 win, and then Fluminense was able to beat them 2-1. We have to shout out these Brazilian teams. You know, like we were talking about before, not a lot of people get a whole bunch of screen time because, you know, obviously the way that streaming works, but
yeah, facts.
All 4 Brazilian teams in the Club World Cup made it to the knockout stages. So just from that standpoint alone, I think we have to give Brazil a lot more credit on what they're doing down in South America.
This is nothing new. I mean, teams have been pulling players from Brazil for
years,
since Neymar. Come on, since
Santos. I mean, you can name a club down
for
there.
time, you know. So it was dope. It was really
dope. You know, just the other day I was looking at a video of, you know, Neymar and Robinho's son. I think it's Robinho Jr. Mm-hmm. You know, they're on the same team down in Brazil, and they were just, you know, working on dribbling and juggling and different tricks. But it's like you kind of forget about South America because we're so focused on Europe. We're so focused on Africa. You know, we're so focused on North America, you know, being here in the U.S. But Brazil is a footballing nation, you know, and we were just speaking about Don Carlo, not to get too off track, but, you know, he's now the manager of the national team. Yeah. And I feel like it's been a solid decade, bruh, since we've really seen a strong Brazilian team that's gone far in these tournaments and done what we kind of expected them to. And, you know, that was the biggest thing for me, seeing all 4 of these Brazilian teams not only make it out of the group stages, but, you know, some of these teams had something to say. You know, like I said, this Fluminense team was none to mess with. So for me, just seeing how good these Brazilian teams were gives me hope that, you know, next World Cup they may be able to do something. But for me, the standout player, just because of his age, of his wisdom, of how he plays the game, of how he's able to control the pitch, bro. Like, you're able to see Thiago Silva. He's back there like a quarterback, kind of calling out plays, seeing it, playing these long balls, telling his team to move forward, shift back. Man, it's going to be a very, very sad day once we lose Thiago Silva and he decides to retire. But that was my big thing. I had to shout out the Brazilians. But to move forward, you know, last topic, we got to talk on these summer transfers because, like I said, it's midsummer. The Premier League is, I believe the Premier League is 29 days out, 28, 29.
Yeah, August 15th, right?
Yeah, man, it's July 17th. We got less than 30 days. We got to talk about some of these summer transfers. I have a whole bunch on this list, but I want to start individually and kind of just talk about our teams, and then we can talk about some of these guys that are flowing out all around. So, Salam, I'll actually start with you. What's going on, Bo?
Hey, what are they talking about?
First of all, I heard from what we were told, you know, because the money was tied up, we have to wait for our fiscal year to be over, and then July we will start to purchase players. Man, the only one I done seen is
And Bueno, they improved their offense.
Cunha is the only player that is officially on the books. If I'm not mistaken,
officially on the books. Yeah.
I know they talking to everybody and their moms, but what's going on, bro?
Yeah, man. And actually, we have another player. His name is Diego Leon, who came.
Oh, okay.
We actually signed him last year, but the agreement was
I was hip too.
So we did have that. I think he's going to provide competition on the wingback positions. So
is he right wing back or left wing back?
I think he was left wing back.
Also, Dorgu.
Yeah, we have Dorgu there. So
interesting.
It's but I think he's able to play on both.
Okay.
But the lack of investments obviously is concerning, especially considering that we're in middle of July 17th to be exact. But yeah, man, I think we're learning a lot about this new ownership group. We're learning a lot about a lot of things. I mean, yes, I think Mateus Cunha is a good signing. Is he going to take us from 15th place to 4th place?
Hell
no. I don't think so. I don't think that that's enough. For me, that there's 3 major positions that we have to address, and that's goalkeeper. We need another center midfielder, and we need a striker. I think that those are the 3 positions that we have to address. Obviously, the fact that we're this far into the season, and if we don't know they said that apparently we're talking to Martinez from Aston Villa.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I think that this stuff should have been done and should have been thought about, I would say, even before the season ended. We just finished in 15th place. We had our worst finish. Where is the urgency of wanting to be better? You know what I'm saying? Even if we can't go get these high marquee names, you know what I'm saying? Let me see some hitting gems that we don't know about. Let me see some youth players, which I think that we are going to see more youth players from.
I agree.
From our academy. I think
Cheeto for sure.
Yeah, Cheeto. I think Heaven definitely.
Yeah,
I think Heaven's ready to contribute in a big way this year.
I like that guy, man. Arsenal Academy.
But yeah, man, I think it just says a lot, man. You look at our rivals. I mean, look at Liverpool. Liverpool just won the Premier League, and they got better. They got better, significantly better. And
crazy.
Rest in peace to Diego Jota too.
100%.
I just wanted to say that, and his brother, 100%. Prayers to them and their family,
and his brother as well.
Yeah, like I said, his brother as well too. So, but yeah, when you look at Liverpool, they read up in a big way. Man City, what some say was a down year for them. Look at the way that they read up. You know what I'm saying? You guys were already, showing signs of improvement, but look at where you guys are now. You know what I'm saying? Even you probably haven't gotten the guys that you wanted, but you guys have still brought in reinforcements. Maybe it was out of order in terms of, like I said, priority-wise. Maybe you should have addressed this position first or addressed this position last, whatever the case may be. But you still brought in reinforcements. I don't see any urgency from this ownership group. And you got to raise questions because it's what was the point of getting Ruben Amorim out of his role with Sporting Lisbon last year? In the middle of the season, for you not to back him in January. Okay, we're not going to back him in January because we're going to do our business in the summer. Here we are in the summer, and we brought in one person, 2 people.
2 months in, bro.
Right? Yeah. And one of the 2 people that one of the 2 people that we brought in, we did that signing last year. He's just joining us now. And I think we are going to get Mbeumo. I think it's just us we're not going to be held for ransom. But here we are. We just submitted a 3rd bid of what exactly they wanted. So I think any day now we'll probably get the here we go from Mbeumo. But no, man, I think I would have liked to see more urgency. And you got to raise questions about this whole Ineos group because, on paper they have all this experience. And I mean, they did. Omar Barada, he did a good job at Man City, but you come here and it's what is it? Why can't we bring in players?
Probably his hands are probably tied, man.
Yeah,
it's a Wenger situation.
But again, so
hands were tied.
Jim Ratcliffe, why did you give him 1 point whatever billion you gave him then? How did you not know what the state of the situation was? But that's what is that? That's poor business practice.
No,
like,
That's
right?
my thing. That's my thing.
Did you not know what you're paying for? Like, I don't understand. It's like it's almost unreal. Like it, you know.
I feel like men them sometimes don't know what they're paying for. You know,
bro. I refuse to believe that someone with as much money as he has, you just go into a situation and you go spend $1 billion. Daniel, would you go give $1 billion to someone that you didn't really know or didn't really know the situation of?
Nope.
No, you wouldn't.
So, said no. He said no, y'all.
You know, like it's ridiculous, man. But no, I mean, it is concerning, especially when you look like we're already behind a lot of our rivals, and it's like our rivals seems to be getting further and further away from us. So to be in the middle of July with no signings, I feel like you're putting the manager in a tough spot. You know, this is his first season. We're supposed to be backing him. You know, Maresca last year. This is the last thing I'll say. I was sitting here when I said my manager of the season was him because he made some tough decisions going into the season. Last season said, hey, you guys are not a part of my plans. We seem to not be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Garnacho back in training. You know what I'm saying? Can't get Rashford out.
Rashford
can't get Sancho out. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, I don't know. Whether or not they would contribute to the team is one thing, but it's like, where is the proactiveness? Why are these guys not out yet?
It says Sancho
just like
personal terms agree with.
I mean, bro, like he, you know what I'm saying?
He's good. I think he's at you,
Nah, I don't think he's at.
It's not official. It's just personal terms.
It's personal terms. Well, I mean, even that, like, I don't know, bro. I don't think that he's gonna budge on the money, and I don't blame him. If I was him, I mean, I don't know. If I was him, I'm sure he probably has ambitions of maybe getting back into the national team fold. So yeah, let me go somewhere. Let me play. But bro, I'm on what, close to 300 racks a week? Like, bro, y'all created the contract. I signed it.
1.2
so, like,
a
bro,
month, boy.
Get your bread, bro. Don't leave, son. Trying to tell you, don't leave, bro. Stay there, bro. But yeah, not a good place for us, obviously.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It is concerning, bro. Especially, you know, when you have a new manager, it's like that's the time you do pump the money. Like, you know, like whenever a new manager comes in, it's like that's when you're supposed to pump the money. That's when you're supposed to back them. And the fact that, bro, we're mid-July and we've been talking about Embuemo for what, a month and a half now, bro?
40 days.
Yeah, it's been like literally, and they're still, and you guys are like, I know Arsenal penny pinches, but damn, like y'all are still penny pinching with this one.
But we ended up still just paying what they wanted.
Yeah, and it's just like,
so,
bro,
why not just?
And that's my point, though. It's just like this business could have gotten done 30 days ago, if we're being completely honest.
But I will say this: I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Our price is different from everybody else's price, 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
when we come in, because people know, like when we come in,
y'all desperate.
Y'all gonna pay. We gave 50 mil for Wan-Bissaka. You remember that?
No, I mean,
they said we wanted 50. They said we said no, we're not gonna be held for ransom.
Y'all paid
3 bids, 50 million.
Yeah, no.
Harry Maguire,
hey,
80 million.
Y'all be getting extorted, bro.
Anthony, you should have went and got him in July when he was 35, 40 million. Instead, what did we pay? 80 million. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like people know like what it is with us, but yeah.
No, that's fair. I don't know. It's just, I mean, as a United fan, I'd be extremely discouraged about, like, bro, if Arsenal hadn't signed anybody up until this point, and the only signing that we had was someone that we already agreed to last year, bro, I probably wouldn't be on this pod right now. I'll be fuming, fam. I'd be fuming right now.
Oh no, I'm about to ball out on this pod this year.
Yeah.
Just wait. Just you wait. I'm about to put in a hell of a year.
Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say.
No, but Arsenal, I mean, you guys, like Salam said, maybe a little bit out of order, but you started, this summer with Zubamendi and, Nani came through. How do you feel about the players that you've gotten thus far? And who is the striker that you want?
I think it's already, to answer your second question first, I think Gyökeres is pretty much done. If I'm being completely honest, I've been doing obviously a lot of research on what's been going on with this situation because I'm still a little pissed off. But anyway, Gyökeres, Sporting is trying to extort us pretty much, and the reports that I've been hearing, who knows what's true, what's not, but I've been seeing. I have a lot of reliable sources. they've been saying that they want 10 millions of add-ons, but their add-ons are kind of ridiculous. Like, oh, if he plays 20 matches, that's 2.5 mil for us. If you guys qualify for Champions League, that's another 2.5 mil. If he it's the add-ons are super duper easy, where it's like we're just gifting you $10 million, which at the end of the day, we need what we need. So it's like, bro, I understand from a business standpoint. Like, I understand. Like, all right, bro. Like, we're giving you the money, we're giving you the fee, all this and the third. Like, don't try to jerk us over, add-ons. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But for me, Gyökeres has always been the one that I've wanted over Sesko. Maybe Sesko has a higher ceiling because he's younger. It's on the third, but I go off of track record, and for me, track record shows that Gyökeres is the guy that we need. So, I want a Gyökeres. I believe that personally he will be coming within the next week or so. If I'm being completely honest, there are pictures of him moving his stuff out of Portugal. He's been in London for the past couple of days. They're trying to get this deal over the line. It's just we're not trying to get jerked over 10 million of add-ons. But in terms of our signings before, Christian Norgard, 12-13 million from Brentford. Like I said before, not a needle mover for me, but honestly someone that will do a strong service for us, and someone that is Prem proven, someone that is a leader, someone that I personally think that we do need in our squad, and that will enhance the squad. Not a needle mover, but he will enhance the squad. Kepa,
another Spanish keeper.
Yeah. I don't expect him to play that much, but good to have the experience. Like I said, he'll give relief to Ryan, Carabao Cup and I think FA Cup, but not someone that I think will be a needle mover as well, but someone that, a second goalkeeper, if God forbid Raya goes down, I have someone that is not just, no shade, but I have someone that isn't Matt Turner. I have someone that isn't a brand new keeper, not an academy kid. This guy has experience. He's been in Champions League, played for the national team. Like we have an experienced keeper coming in that is kind of a plug and play. I don't have to worry about, and he's good with his feet. We play a lot and a lot of interplay, and we play with our keeper a lot. So another guy that, God forbid, Raya goes down, I can rely on him. Zubimendi, 60 mil. This is a guy we've been in and out with over 2 years. Like I said, for us, he may be a needle mover. For me personally, I don't see it yet, but I'm excited to see what our squad looks like. And honestly, we play Milan, I think, in a week or so. Let me check. Just real quick. 6 days. Yeah, 6 days. Literally, we play Milan, and I'm excited. I'm honestly excited because I want to see what the lineup we come out with. I want to see some of these guys playing an Arsenal shirt. This is probably the first time I'm going to see Zubimendi in red and white, and I'm excited to see it. I really am, because I want to see how you fit into the team. I want to see how Arteta really views you. We can go off all the speculation, all of the, the tweets and this and the third, but at the end of the day, it's Arteta in the squad. It's Arteta in the squad, and however he views you is what you're going to be as, in our squad. So I'm really truly excited to see what we look like against Milan. And then the most recent one, Nani Madueke, around 60 million, 52 million euros from Chelsea. Wow. There's been I will say this first and foremost. I'm tired of funding Chelsea's transfer windows. I'm tired of Chelsea funding.
I'll just sign it.
Bro, I'm tired of paying Chelsea for their players. Because do I think there are better players out there than Nani Madueke that could fill our left winger role 100%? Now, with all that being said, I do want to also, before I get into my little take on this, I do want to talk to the Arsenal fan base. I want to be very, very clear on this. I do not agree with the fans coming out and putting petitions out for this transfer and this and the third. I don't think I don't agree with it. I don't think that's good for the club. I don't think it's good for the player. This is obviously a player, whether the fans like it or not, he's coming. So I'm really not for like the hate and the shade. And I could, and to a certain extent, I can understand it solely because there are other positions that we want to address before, we got a left winger. Obviously, our striker position is one we wanted to have sealed and signed and done before Madueke came in. But at the end of the day, this is a position that we absolutely needed to sign a first team player for this coming season. And am I mad at Madueke coming in? No, I'm not, because this is a player that, one, gives us experience. This is a player that can go 1v1 against anyone. This is a guy that we're going to play on this left wing, and he's going to provide service for whoever our 9 is, whether it's Kai Havertz, whether it's Gyökeres, whether it's Sesko, whoever we bring in, whether it's Moreno starting at 9, right? He's going to provide a service with his left foot, a quality service that we've almost never had before. And yes, Martinelli's done his thing, but he's not left-footed. You know what I mean? And Madueke adds a whole different mentality and a whole different vibe to this team. And like I said, I don't like buying players from Chelsea. I'll continue to say that. But for this signing, this is a young guy who he's wanted his chance. Now this is your chance to go ball out. This is your chance to take over this left wing position from Martinelli, who personally, you guys know how critical I've been of him over the past season. And I expect him, how Rafinha has been a left winger for Barcelona and has done amazing things on that left side. When's the last, outside of Rafinha, when's the last time we really saw a left-footed player play on the left side?
It's been a while.
It's been time, bro. This is years and years. You know what I mean? So
ever since Pep ruined it.
Yeah. So I'm dead. So I am excited to see Nani on that left wing side. I do think he will come in, and I do think he will end up starting for us on a very consistent basis.
Sure.
And him with whatever striker that we're going to bring in, is even if it's freaking Kai Havertz to start the season, it's going to add a different sauce, a different gravy, a different vibe, a different feel to our attack. And I am excited about him coming in. So a lot of people have, the shade and this and the third. I don't agree with it. Yes, I understand the shade, because obviously we want a 9 to be in first, and that's the first order of business. But I'm okay with this. I am okay with this. And as much as personally, like, I'm not the biggest fan of the transfer. I can see the vision. I can see what he wants to do and what Arteta is trying to do with this player and trying to do with this team. And this left side has been dead for a year. A full calendar year, this left side has been absolutely dead. And to bring on a 1v1 player who's proven to beating players 1v1, fast, quick, he's literally a better Martinelli in my eyes. He's only just left-footed, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm excited to see what he adds to our squad. And honestly, not saying that Martinelli's the worst. I still expect things from Martinelli, even if he, I don't know if he's going to get sold or not. I don't think he will be. But, Martinelli's still coming in and being a part of our squad. I don't think it's just going to be stripped from him right away. But like we said, we need competition in every single space of our team. We need competition. And this is another guy who's going to, if Martinelli, listen, this is still your spot right now. But granted, you continue to get some of these chances, you don't finish, you make the wrong decisions, this and the third. There's a guy behind you that is hungry and ready to take your spot. We need that in our team. And one transfer we didn't talk about, center back. He's not 100% confirmed yet, but everything's pretty much done, signed, delivered. He hasn't been announced. Christian Mosquera from Valencia, 15 mil, young center back, left-footed. I haven't really watched Valencia that much over the past year or so. I've only seen clips and highlights. But I like this signing because we need center back help. As we can tell, Calafiori wasn't 100% all season, and just from this is just from this past year. This is someone that I fully can't rely on yet. If I'm being completely honest, I can't rely on you because the best ability is availability, and you haven't been available for us for time. So it's good to get another center back in. It's going to help give Saliba some relief, Gabriel some relief, and this is a young guy who he's not expecting to play every match, but he wants Arsenal 1. He's a young buck who's going to be able to learn behind two of the best center backs in the world, one of the best center back pairings in the world. And this is someone that I think will continue to grow and grow and grow. And, you know, I'm excited to see what he adds to the squad, and just excited to see him in the team. So those are our transfers so far. I'm happy with it. Like I said, Gyökeres isn't confirmed, and, you know, I don't want to speak too much on it and jinx it, but Eze, man. Eze still might come through. And I'm just letting Mendem, this is the last thing I have to say. I'm just letting Mendem know, right, bro. Hold on. Let me get right. I'm letting Mendem know right now. If you guys let us get Eze, if y'all let us get Eze,
Still finish in second place.
Cornelius said what you have to say.
Still finishing second place.
You guys will be seeing us all over the place. If we get Eze, we're in the league 100%. 10,000.
Without a striker?
No. We still need a striker. But if we get Eze,
He's not a needle mover.
No. Eze's a needle mover, 100%. Eze's a needle mover.
Not enough to move the needle without a striker.
We need a 9, bro. And honestly, I don't want to go that far. I've been fighting too much for a striker. I've been fighting too much. We need a striker. But Eze, if he signs, bro, that might be the marquee signing, even more than a striker. That's gonna get us over the hump. If I'm being super honest, because we need an Odegaard competition. We need Odegaard backup. He can not only play cam, he can play on the left wing. It's gonna get sticky for you guys. So I'm like our signing so far. Obviously, we still have a couple months to go, but I see good things in the future.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet because I know we're up on time here. But you know, last month when we were in the same studio, we had just gotten Delap, and I spoke on him, and I said, realistically, bro, our team is, you know, I didn't really need too many players. Chelsea over the last 3 years has bought, you know, at least one player from each country is what it seems like. You know, we even looking down to Antarctica for some players, it seems like. But with the team that we have right now, you know, I feel like we have some of the most depth in the Premier League.
100%.
And the positions that I think that we need the most are still in the back line.
100%.
We haven't made any changes to our back line, which scares me a little bit. You know, obviously we went and got Joao Pedro, which he's shown what he's able to do. Like he's gonna help us leaps and bounds. Like, you know, Salam was saying earlier, now we have 3 up front. Who knows what happens with Nicholas Jackson, but currently he's still a player on the Chelsea roster. So I feel like for me, if we are to go and we spend any more money, I need us to secure up this back line. It seems like Maresca is getting more comfortable putting Reece James in the midfield. Personally, I still like him as our right back, but Malo Gusto has shown that he can play. He can play there. You know, that Conference League final was a little bit of a, you know, he got his head rattled a little bit, but I think he needed to get his head rattled for him to get a little bit more comfortable in that right back position. The way that Chelsea wants to play, we're going to be running. You know, our outside backs, our full backs, they're going to be intermingling with our center mids. They're going to be flying up the wings. So we definitely need pacey wingers, pacey fullbacks, but I think we need one more center back, and I'm still not sold on Sanchez.
He had a good final.
He had a great final. I'm not gonna lie, he had a great tournament, and I've been reading a lot about what these Chelsea insiders are saying, and the word around the camp is they believe in him. You know, the whole thing with Sanchez at the beginning of the year was he makes bonehead mistakes which lead to goals. And the word around the camp is outside of that, Chelsea loves everything about him. They love his ability to play with his feet. They love his saving ability. They love the leadership he brings to the team. With him, it's really just, can you stay locked in for 90 minutes?
Ramsdale effect.
You know, and at your old age, you in your 30s, bro, like you need to be able to stay locked in. So I'm still not 1,000% sold on him. I still think we need another center back. I love, what Cucurella gives us at left back, but one injury to him and we don't have another left back. So left back, center back, and goalie for me would right now be the three positions I'd like to see us maybe sew up before this summer's over. But to be completely honest, I love what our team looks like right now. And just to end it on the João Pedro, because, and we got Jamie Gittins as well from Dortmund. Is another good squad player. He's very pacey. He's one of those guys that likes to take players on. But a quote I saw from João Pedro, after this Club World Cup, he said, when I was on Watford and we got relegated, there were a lot of teams that wanted me, to come play for them. I had a lot of teams call me on loan. And what I told my agent was, no, a lot of these Premier League players, a lot of these Premier League stars, they got their start in the championship. You have to play 40-plus games. It's tough. You're also in the FA Cup, so you also get to play some of these elite caliber teams in the Premier League. And what I've realized is if I want to be a star in the Premier League, I need to earn my stripes in the championship. And for me, that's all I've ever wanted to hear from any one of my players in the Chelsea Blue. Like I said last time we were here, Chelsea is its best when we're gritty in the back, when we're gritty up front, and we have midfielders that are allowed to do their special thing. And right now, João Pedro, if you looked at anything that he did in that Club World Cup, he'd score a goal and then he'd race 90 yards back to make a tackle. That's all I want from my players. Someone who's willing to fight for the badge, someone who's willing to run into the dirt for the badge and for his boys on the pitch. And so for me, if we can get another few players in our defense like that, because Levi Colwill, he's a little soft for me, but standing next to Chalobah, he has to toughen up a little bit. So I honestly love what our team looks like right now. Again, if I could have my wish, it would literally be to make our defense a little bit more solid. But I'm telling y'all, we coming. We're coming.
No, I like that. Like I said, I've always liked João Pedro as a player. I've been following his career, honestly, for so long. I've always liked him as a player. So no, I can agree with that. I know we're running on time, but I definitely want to get into just a couple other notable transfers that have happened, especially in the Prem. Let's start with Liverpool, actually. Florian Wirtz, 125 mil from Leverkusen. They also got Milos Kerkez as well from Bournemouth.
We talked about this last time, but
46.
They got Jerome.
Yeah, they got Jerome Frimpong as well.
Or Jeremy.
Sorry, not Jerome. Sorry, Frimpong. Jeremy Frimpong as well.
Jerome.
Yeah, Jerome is crazy. My fault.
Jerome and I.
Yeah. But yeah, no. How do you feel about those three coming in, and what impact do you think they'll have on the Liverpool squad?
Just real quick, man. They lost Trent. They got their right back. Robertson, we know that he's a little bit older now. They got their left back in Kerkez, and I've been on this Florian Wirtz kid, since the ACL tear. Yeah, I believe he's one of the best young players in the world, man. And, we all were able to see what he did on that Leverkusen team last year. Best, team MVP. I think, Liverpool, they got a player. They got one. He's a hard worker. He's German. He's a thoroughbred. He likes to knock off tackles. He likes the contact. He's one of those players. He doesn't... He reminds me of Eden Hazard in the fact that he welcomes the contact and he's able to shrug it off and still play his game. And I love that about him. I think he's going to acclimate to the Prem very, very well.
Fair. I definitely wanted to touch on City as well. Because honestly, I know they got Shirky this summer, who, we've been watching for time now. And he just looks like he's just fit in. But and they got Renders as well. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Reinders.
Sorry. Reinders from Milan as well.
Another baller. Just one round baller.
The under the radar signing that they made this season. Ayat Nuri from Wolves, bro.
Another baller.
I have been, bro. I remember the first time watching him in a Wolves shirt, and he just stood out so much. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, he is a proper left back, can attack, defend. He's technical. He can cross the ball in. Like, he is just a great left back. And it's only a matter of time before he got a big move, you know? So that's, for City, I think that's one that, you know, he is not as marquee as the other ones, but man, Salam, I just want to get your thoughts. You know, what do you think about City's, you know, window so far this season?
I mean, good. I think the main one is Pep got back with his wife. So, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Hey, man.
Facts,
you got to make sure everything good at home, man. And
my man was doing 48-hour bids in the office.
Remember mid-season, like when the news came out that like they kind of reconciled whatever they were getting back together. That's when City kind of hit that spark.
Fans was smiling again.
Nah, but in all seriousness, I think you're right. I think Ayat Nuri is going to be maybe not one of the more flashier signings, but I think throughout the course of the season, he's going to be someone that they can rely on for sure. But Turkey to me, man, is I think he's really going to fit that De Bruyne role. In the sense of I don't think so much of like the creativity in terms of like service for Haaland, but I think that he's so good with technically. So I think that he's going to be able to attract a lot of defenders, which is going to ultimately leave their playmakers in 1v1 or in space. So yeah, I mean, you know, the rich keep getting richer there.
No,
I think this is really going to be a big bounce back for Man
City.
Not to cut you off, I know we got like 2 minutes left. I want to get y'all thoughts on Spurs. You know, they got,
I was about to say the same
they
thing.
got Matthias Tell. They finally got him over from loan from Bayern, so they inked that deal. And then Mohamed Kudus. Yeah. Kudus is there. You know, Morgan Gibbs White is kind of hanging. We don't really know what's going to go there, but coming off their Europa League win, you know, they're going to be in Champions League next year. How do you feel about Spurs?
No, I mean, I think the Mohamed Kudus signing could be the signing of the season when we look back on this season. Honestly, I didn't think that. I had no idea that this was even a possibility. And you got to give Spurs credit that
Thomas Frank effect.
They got it done quickly. And yeah, that Thomas Frank effect, I think that he's going to kind of play the role that Mbeumo had when they were at Brentford. I think Kudus is a better player, though. So I think that he's going to be able to really bring that team kind of, you know, Mike always talks about James Maddison and how he wants to see more from, you know, be more of a creative outlet. But no, I think that this team was already a pretty good team. And I think that adding a player of his caliber is definitely going to help them out and allow them to score more goals, because I don't see – one thing about Spurs was – defensively, maybe, you know, they had issues in the back, but they were always able to score. And he's going to bring more goals. So I'm really excited to see him. I'm kind of bummed out that he went to Spurs.
Same.
But I mean, you know, and it's crazy, man. Like that pool, bro. They won the Europa League. He said that he wanted, like, there was no one else. Like, this is who I wanted to go to. So you got to give them credit, and I think he's going to be a good signing for them.
Yeah, same.
Go ahead.
I just want to say same to that. I think. Honestly, I think Spurs over the past 10 years have had decent squads. We can be honest, they've had decent squad over the past 10 years, even going back to when Dembele was there. Not Ousmane Dembele, but Moussa Dembele. But I think their biggest signing this summer was Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank is the summer signing of the season, if I'm being completely honest, for this team. And I think he's going to be the one to really reignite this team and to make them, you know, what they should have been over the past couple of years. But two more just before we run out of time real quick. KDB to Napoli.
They trying to run it back
with Scott McTominay, man. How you guys feel?
Damn, with Scott McTominay, not Lukaku, not the guy who actually.
No, I like the rivalry. I like the rivalry.
Player of the year. You know?
I think the biggest thing for them is that they don't really need to rely on KDB. Like, you know, and I think that where he's at in his career, like, bro, even if he can come on and close out games for you, or even play the first 60 minutes of games. I mean, I think what we've seen, especially in Serie A, is that a lot of these players that come from the Premier League are able to find success there because of the pace of the Premier League, and I guess how people say the Serie A is a little bit more slower. So
I also think they're making a push for Champions League. They look at the team they have and they're like, let's go make a run.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and I mean with Conte there, I mean you got like the recipe for success. I mean KDB's back with Lukaku, his international teammate. Scott McTominay, obviously. So yeah, man, I still think that they'll add an attacker. I don't know who. I know they're sniffing around with Garnacho, but that's a good signing, man. I think you can't go wrong with KDB, even where he's at in his career right now.
I agree 100%. And last one for me, Anthony Elenga, Newcastle. This one honestly, caught me by surprise. I didn't even know he was going to be on the move. This is very, very surprising to me. But Newcastle, this guy can play in the left or right wing. I think he's going to be starting on that right wing, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think Jacob Murphy's going to be starting there next season. So how do you feel about this transfer? And honestly, I feel like this is one of the attempts to keep Isak there. Isak has Anthony Gordon, Isak, and Elanga. He has Elanga and Gordon on each side. How do you guys feel?
It's his international teammate too. So I mean, you talk about keeping him happy. I think that I think this was a really good move. Before I talk about the move in itself, I just wanted to say, Ralph Ragnick told you about this player a few years ago, and the club determined that he wasn't good enough. We sold him for less than $15 million. Jesus. And not just him. Formerly Alvaro Fernandez, Alvaro Carrias, just got sold from Benfica to Real Madrid for $55 million.
It's $100 million. It's $100 million.
At the time, he wasn't good enough to play for Man United, but I think this is going to definitely help this team. I mean, already a good team. He's going to bring Premier League proven experience, and he's going to provide, one of the best strikers in the league, more goals, more opportunities to score. So, yeah, I think that they definitely hit on this one too, and I feel like the price was fair as well too. So,
I agree.
Another signing that's going to go under the radar.
I agree.
Cool. And do shout outs. We'll do one shout out each. Do you guys have a shout out?
Yeah, man. Shout out Chelsea Football Club. Best club in the world. Coming for that top 3, top 4 spot come Champions League this year. Watch out for your boys up to Chelsea. You already know.
Do I have a shout out? Honestly, once it's confirmed, and we can save this clip for when it's confirmed. Shout out Victor Gyökeres. Broke up with his girlfriend. Gave up $2 million. Even his agent gave up money to come to Arsenal. Can't wait to see you in that red and white, bro. So, shout out Gyökeres.
Yeah, my shout out is actually going to go to Evander of the MLS, FC Cincinnati. We have Premier League recaps that drop every week after the last game of every match day in the MLS. And this week I said, Evander continues to build an MVP case that can't be ignored. 8 goals in his last 5 games, 23 total goal contributions this season, and has FC Cincinnati currently in second place right now. So I know Messi obviously is the front runner and probably, let's be honest, probably the person who's going to win the award. But I mean, this guy I feel like has shown that he's definitely in that mix. I always believe that, the MVP should always be the best player on the best team. It's a team sport, right? So, shout out to Evander.
Just real quick before we get out, 3 more shout outs, and I'll make it real quick. Shout out Michael Adedokun. Shout out Forrester Agile, and shout out Bill Hamid. We love seeing you guys in Miami compete. It was really, really dope to go see Lexington versus Miami FC. It was a pleasure meeting you guys and seeing you all in person. Obviously, Bill will get well soon. I hope that MRI went well, but shout out to you guys, man. Really, really do appreciate y'all. So, 100%. That's it for me.
Yeah, anybody else?
Dan, you got any shout outs?
No, I'm gonna shout out Daniel, man.
And shout out Daniel, man. The student, man.
Holding us down.
Had the nerd gummy clusters, man. One of the top tier candies, bro. Top tier candies.
Nah, but I did want to shout out the Sycamore Studio.
Always.
If you guys are content creators or podcasters, and are in or around the Columbus
Man,
area.
even when we want to shoot a music video, they got a crazy white backdrop. You can put a car in here, whatever you need to do.
Graduation photos, family photos. They have
anything.
Space. It's
Come to Sycamore, man. Come to Sycamore Studios.
Yeah, but shout out to the continued hospitality, man. So, yeah, good episode, guys. Shout out Mike. Unfortunately, couldn't be here today, but yeah, man, we unfortunately missed out on a bunch of takes that I feel like we'll just have to wait until our
next
Premier League predictions. But appreciate everybody for tuning in, and good luck to you in your future endeavors.